Adolescence represents a crucial phase of human development, during which the brain undergoes significant structural and functional changes that shape cognition, emotional regulation, judgment, and behavior. While this period presents opportunities for learning and growth, it also increases vulnerability to factors that may disrupt healthy development, including experiments with psychoactive substances, particularly those regarded as gateway drugs. Welcome to this week's episode of your guide on mental health related issues. I am Yetunde Jayola, your host. With my co-anchor Nectar Dozie, we will be taking you through another episode of the program In the Shadows. The program will continue after the break.
If anybody give you your banana, Simba, Simba, if sugar daddy give you cocaine, Simba, Simba, give you eyes, give you louds, tell you said I won't try go. Now so you take that oh, hey, let in eyes I see, Simba, Simba, oh, even Colos, Sky, Simba, oh, well and I'm only Simba, oh, Simba, oh, no he say I know they hear, but then say make I stop, oh, enough it stop, I swear I want to stop, somebody help me stop, if anybody give you banana. Cocaine, Simba, if anybody give you banana, Sky, if sugar daddy give you cocaine, give you eyes, give you louds, tell you said I want to go. Now so you take that oh, Chuku Simba.
Substance abuse does not only harm the user, it first destroys the individual, then their families, and ultimately weaken the society. On the show this week, we will be looking at the various gateway substances that often open the floodgates into eventual drug abuse. To help us understand the concept of gateway drugs, here is our backgrounder, which provides some useful insight into the issue of gateway drugs. Don't go anywhere.
When discussions about drug abuse arise, attention often shifts to substances such as cocaine, heroin, or methamphetamine. However, experts warn that substance dependence often begins with gateway drugs. Gateway drugs are substances that may appear harmless or socially acceptable, but can increase the likelihood of later experimenting with more dangerous drugs. Common examples include alcohol, tobacco, nicotine products, and sometimes cannabis. Young people in particular are vulnerable due to curiosity, peer pressure, social media influence, and a desire to fit. Occasional use can gradually normalize substance use, making stronger drugs seem less intimidating. Research suggests that although not everyone who uses a gateway drug progresses to other substances, early exposure can influence decision-making and increase addiction risk, especially during adolescence when the brain is still developing. Consequences from drug dependence can affect physical health, mental well-being, academic performance, family relationships, and social interaction. Also, communities are faced with increased healthcare costs, crime, and lost productivity. Experts emphasize that prevention through open communication between parents and children, school-based education, community awareness campaigns, and positive role models can help young people make informed choices. Understanding gateway drugs is not about creating fear, but promoting awareness by recognizing warning signs and addressing factors that encourage substance use. These can help protect young people from more serious drug abuse. Because for many, prevention begins with knowledge, and knowledge can make all the difference.
You're welcome back. The program is still in the shadows, and we are reaching from the studio of the new and we are reaching you from the studio of NTA News 24 here in the nation's capital, Abuja. You can also watch the program live online at nta.ng. You can also join us via our various social media handles showing on the screen. Our phone line, which will be on live in the course of the program, is 080-5555-9989. I'll take that again, 080-5555-9989. Joining us to help unravel the mystery behind gateway drugs is a retired director of technical services at the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. He has a wide range of experience in dealing with drug-related issues in the course of his career in the Nation Anti-Drug Agency. Join me to welcome Deputy Commandant General of Narcotics, Momodu Sule, FSI, retired, into our studio. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much to be here.
Let's get right into it. Can you enlighten us on what gateway drugs are specifically?
Well, from the intro, you have captured it, except probably I will have a little descending view about cannabis sativa, that's wee. Yes. Yes, because gateway drugs are those drugs that are not particularly in the group of drugs that you will say are the hard drugs, so to say.
Okay.
Maybe soft drugs like alcohol, cigarettes, maybe Nescafe, caffeine, nicotine. Okay. These are the gateway drugs. There's a general belief that people who take these drugs have the tendency, of graduating into the harder drugs after a repeated use. Because, when you use drugs, when you're abusing drugs, there's a purpose.
Yes.
Maybe take, for example, you smoke cigarettes because you want to be part of the crowd. It gets to a point, being part of the crowd does not require you to smoke cigarette again. It requires you to take other serious drugs.
To upgrade.
Yeah.
How critical are gateway drugs in the introduction of the young ones into substance abuse?
Well, if you look at the scenario we face now, probably, in the days gone by, gateway drugs were critical because those were the first set of drugs they will introduce you to smoke cigarettes. Maybe in the secondary school, your senior will want you to test it, or you go to parties, somebody will want you to test alcohol and all the rest. But when you look at the scenario we face now, gateway drugs are not all that so important in getting people into substance abuse. Yeah.
Okay. So at what age or how early can parents or guardian start watching out for gateway drugs influencing their children into graduating into substance abuse?
Well, I would say as early as they can, because the world is changing. A lot of things in the internet. So probably as soon as the child is becoming more sensible, is beginning to have friends, you should be able to begin to know who his friends are. Maybe right from, you see, even the issue of drug now, people will tell you if you go to primary school, it's there. So for me, as soon as a child is becoming people would say adolescent. No, for me, when a child is becoming more sensible, more adaptive to the various environments, parents now begin to say, okay, we need to put our eyes on you. When children begin to say, I have friends, they begin to say, oh, we have something to do back at school. Oh, we have a so social event. Then you need to open your eyes. You need to watch out. You need to begin to check your child to be sure that it's not getting involved in first gateway drugs. But like I said, drugs these days, it's not just the gateway,
You're just going into it. We realize that peer pressure has been identified as a major driver of introduction into substance abuse, including gateway drugs. How can this be handled?
Yes, build their confidence, build the confidence of the children, self-esteem, make them believe in themselves. Because more often than not, when we talk of this peer pressure, it is because you want to be like your friend. Because you don't believe in yourself. So if you believe in yourself, we need to help the parents, parents need to help their children. The school environment also needs to help them build self-confidence. Believe in yourself, self-esteem. So that when somebody says you do something that is, that is not correct, you say no. If he says, look, you can't be my friend because you are not going to do what I am doing, so to hell with you. Ability to do that is very, very critical in being able to fight off the peer pressure group. You mustn't belong to a group of people. You must not go with them to do whatever they want to do. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in what is right. So it's good for parents to teach their children at a very early age what is right and what is wrong.
How can the home help in safeguarding the young ones from gateway drugs? The home help in safeguarding the young ones in gateway drugs, especially, even cough syrup can be addiction for some children.
You see, home, very critical. Why do I say it's critical? Like I said, parents need to get hold of their children. If you tell a child, okay, take for example, we just watched some of your some things on your program right now, and you could see what drug has done to some people. Yes. So let your children see the consequences. Talk to them. You can die young. You can be sick. Your vital organs of your body can be destroyed. You can go mad. Just make them understand. The home, the parents should be able to make sure that they do this. Then most importantly, at home, parents should not do those things that the children will copy. If as a parent you smoke in the presence of your children, you are exposing them. Right. If you drink alcohol in their presence, you are asking them to. So at the home, parents should not do those things that the children would like to imitate. Children like to imitate. I remember some time ago, a former deputy governor's son said to me that he started learning how to smoke by buying cigarette for his father. Yes, by buying cigarette for his father, by watching his father smoke. That's where he learned how to smoke and graduated to smoking cannabis sativa, wee. So at home, don't send your children to buy you cigarettes. Don't send your children to buy you alcohol. Don't teach your children how to take coffee, thick coffee. There are things you should not teach your child at home. Because if you fail not to let them see those things and you teach them, you are helping them to develop.
So before we continue, I'm sure our viewers are enjoying this conversation, your insightful conversation. Let's go on a short break. In the Shadows continues shortly.
Hello, doctor. Can I get the tramadol for the road? Body they pay me oh.
To make I check your body, then I will tell you waiting you need.
Hello doctor, I know it's the way to I know it's the way to
Wait to make I check your body, then I go tell you waiting you need.
Hello doctor, no need to check me. I know say now waiting my body need. Is it your body? I don't be wait. I don't be wait. Hello doctor, you see I am coughing. I need codeine or I go enter coughing.
Wait to make I check your body,
I don't feel
then
to
I go tell you
wait.
waiting you need.
Give me cannabis, or sensibilia, please. I need to end this feeling.
Wait to make I check your body, then I will tell you waiting you need.
Hello doctor, waiting I do myself. I've been known to say, but I didn't want somebody.
Wait to make I check your body, then I will tell you waiting you need.
Doctor, help me check my body. I need your help before it's too late. Hi.
If you are just tuning in, you're watching In the Shadows on the network service of NTA News 24, and we are discussing the gateway drugs today. Commandant, let's continue our conversation. How can school and other institutions of learning and socialization help in curbing the usage of gateway drugs?
Well, first, in the schools, of course, schools should be the environment of the school should be a place where none of these drugs can be used. So the school should be very strict.
It is being used.
The school should be strict. There should be a sign, and if you violate it, there should be punishment, severe punishment. You know, because you need to deter. It's not just to punish for punishing, but to deter others from getting involved in such attitude. Then again, teaching, you know, I think we have subjects where, let me say this, you know, drug education was infused into schools so many years ago, but I don't think they are teaching. They are not teaching in the school. So if they are doing the teaching, there's a curriculum. There is a teacher manual that we are not using today. It was infused so many years ago, and I think we need to, because it will go a long way to address this issue. You know, the school environment should be an area where you say you can't use such drugs. If you do, you are punished. Yes.
As a nation, do you think we are doing enough to safeguard our nation from this drug debacle?
No. No, we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough because everybody just leave the whole thing to NDLA. No. Drug is everybody's problem.
Yes.
And let me tell you what I've noticed since I've been going around trying to talk to people about drug. There's a denier. Some schools don't even want you to come and talk about it. Most private schools, they don't even want you to talk about it. So there's a denier. That denier is what is fueling the crisis. Everybody is saying, you know, it's just like this music those days, orchestra, rice and beans, you know, when they talked about, let's talk about sex, baby. But nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody's doing it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Drug is a problem. Nobody wants to talk about it. We are running away from it. And as long as we continue to run away from it and we leave it to NDLA to do alone, then there's a big challenge. Then I also think the government, both at the local government, at the state level, and at the federal level, needs to do more. The federal government needs to fund NDLA better to allow NDLA to achieve its mandate. You know, the state needs to come in. You know, of recent, there are two policies that the federal government has developed. How to address drug issues in tertiary institutions and also at secondary schools. We need to drive. You see, we don't know what we are facing with this drug problem. Today they tell you insecurity is fueled by drug problem. Insecurity.
Yes.
Hate is coming. When young people are already dying. When young people are already dying, and when they begin to die more, it might be too late. So this is the time I will urge the federal government to give every support, funding, critical. As a matter of fact, until General Buba Marwa came, we were just nowhere in NDLA. He has been the one who has been able to attract some kind of funding from the federal. But that funding is not still enough. It's not within the threshold. You need to do campaigns.
Yes.
You need to see the drug has two aspects, the supply reduction and the demand reduction. What the NDLA is getting now cannot do those two. Supply reduction is where you try to stop the cultivation, the growth, the distribution, to process, to sell. While demand reduction is where you do enlightenment. The funding is not just there, to do these things. And so we need, at the state level, we're supposed to have state drug control committees to help drive the process, But how many states have functioning state drug control committee today in Nigeria? We are playing with fire. And the fire is already burning. So we need to come together. Don't leave NDLA alone. Fund NDLA. The state government needs to come. We are supposed to even have local government drug control committees. How many local government have this thing? Even at the ministries, say for example, federal ministries, you're not surprising that as we are in this country today, we don't have a national drug policy that regulates how we employ. When we're employing people, what they need to do, a workplace drug policy, a national workplace drug policy, we need to have it in this country, a national drug workplace policy to address the issue of drug. Again, like I said, we have two policies now for secondary and tertiary institutions. It's so difficult getting schools to buy in, getting states to buy in. And these are programs, for me, they are the panacea to stopping the issue of drug abuse. Because part of it is you do a drug test.
Yes.
The NDLA drug integrity test. The fear that you do a test is the beginning of wisdom. Because if you are caught, you know the consequences. So we need to drive through these two policies to ensure that we fight this. We shouldn't leave it to NDLA alone.
Okay. From your wealth of experience in the war against drug abuse, how do you think parents can take more precaution in safeguarding their kids?
Well, for me, what parents need to do is to continue to check their children. You continue to monitor your children. Don't leave them. Don't say, take for example, what I noticed in the year of service was that when the children go to this adolescent age, we begin to say their behavior is being fueled by the adolescent, want to do this. No. Check them. I say when the behavior of a child changes, check.
Yes.
Just reassure yourself. And how do you check? First, check their pockets. Check their pockets. Check the dustbin in their room. Check the dustbin, whether there's something there. And let me tell you this. Anybody that smokes Igbo, that has smoked it repeatedly, will have his 2 fingers burned. You know why? Igbo does not have a butt, so they must smoke it to the end. So in the process of smoking it to the end, the 2 fingers, you see your child with matches box in his room, lighter. What is he doing with it? You see him with a sizzler paper. What is he doing with it? It's to wrap cannabis.
But some parents won't even know the sizzler paper.
Well, it's more or less like a foil paper that is cut to the size of a cigarette. You know,
Okay.
it's cut short. You know, you just wrap it. You know, but some parents know. In those days, we used to have this cigarette they call a remon. You wrap to smoke. So it's those kind of papers. When they have them, what are they doing with it? You see matches, lighter. You know, we used to say the felifenarias, you know. You see, I used to call it susurubia scent. You know, this scent they put in their room to kill any odor. Which odor is it killing? You know, look, a child that is doing drugs, you will see the remnants in his pocket trouser or shirt pocket. You see the remnants in his room. So once you shine your eye, let me use that word as a parent, if you shine your eye, you would nib it on the board. Like I said, most importantly, changing behavior. Oh, of course, if you see a cough syrup bottle in your son's room, you know there's this saying that every day for the thief, one day for the owner. You'll be hiding those things, but you just keep checking. But once you notice a change and you check, you don't find these things, send the child for a drug test to reassure yourself that you have done what you are supposed to do. He can't beat you on that.
Yes.
Yes. And again, dirtiness is a sign of people who do drugs. They don't keep themselves well. You know, remember I said changing behavior.
Yes.
So just look at changing behavior from all aspects. That's what a parent should look at for.
You know, we are in the era of social media. How are celebrities and influencers fueling drug problem?
Well, they are. You remember some of them, they sing nonsense. They just sing nonsense. And in the process of doing that, they are encouraging. Like I remember one of these musicians who was singing something Igbo, you know. It was crazy. What are you doing? I can assure you that some of these celebrities you see that are encouraging drug, they are sick. Very, very sick. If they are not sick, they won't be encouraging what they know can kill somebody. I've seen people die. Yes, I've seen people die from drug abuse. It's very, very pathetic to see young people that are dying. They are dying. I know. I've seen. I remember I saw somebody use ethanol once. He drank it, and once you drink it, you can't survive. He died. So the so-called celebrities that are making it look like it's a good thing to do drugs, for me, they are sick, and they are not helping us. But again, don't forget, you've seen some of them. NDLA has catch up with them. We've seen drugs in their houses, yes. And so, and I will urge NDLA to continue to look out for such people that are saying doing drugs is good, so that we'll keep them behind the bar, because that's where they belong. Yeah.
Commandant, do you think our porous borders contribute to the availability of drug by people bringing them into the country from other countries?
Porous?
Yes.
America is one of the most secured country in the world. Drugs are on the streets. What is porous border? What are they bringing from the border? Most of the drugs we are talking about that our youth are doing now, take for example, talk of kolo, which is a mixture of so many things. They do it locally. Cannabis sativa, the most popular one, is grown in Nigeria. Monkey tail is in Nigeria. The only one they are bringing in may be Canadian loud. NDLA on top of the game. Like I said, if NDLA gets what funding that it's supposed to get, because what it's getting now is okay, Marwa has tried, but federal government needs to give him more support. You know, if we have enough of this technological equipment, equipment you need to do this game. You see, drug is it requires a lot of information processing, information gathering to turn to intelligence to be able to do action. It's not you just, you know, it's not a small, you know. So what I'm saying here is the porous border is not really, for me, a big deal. We are all, NDL is doing all that it can. With additional support, they will do much, much, much better than they are doing now. But don't forget, I've told you, most of them, tramadol is here. They bring it in through the seaport. The custom is up. NDLA custom are working together at the seaport. They are intercepting it. You can't bring, you see, everything of these things, like tramadol, is illicit. It's a drug for pain that the young men now decided to abuse. So if you order it, of course, there are trade instruments that will expose you. So customs, NDLA partnership, fantastic at the seaport, at the airport. They are doing great. So for me, I don't think the porous border is a big issue. What they would really need is to enhance the funding of NDLA, and they will do much, much better.
You said we have those things in our communities here. So how can communities and traditional institutions help protect the young ones from getting into it?
I think what I would suggest is for community. Like I said, the drug problem is everybody's problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So the community needs to get involved. They don't need to protect. Look, communities. Some communities, they protect the drug dealers. I experienced it. Communities protect drug dealers. So what do you expect? Making arrests in such communities so difficult. So the community needs to share this and cooperate, work with the law enforcement agency, most especially the National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies. Share information with us, with the NDLA. Share information with the NDLA. Sorry, I've retired. Share information with NDLA. You know, these people are with you. That partnership, very key. I experienced it in Anambra. That partnership, very key. The community will come and tell you we have so and so person that is doing. Then you set up the necessary machinery to determine whether he's doing it or not. How is he doing it? You know, you do a lot of groundwork, and if your groundwork indicates that something positive, you strike. So communities needs to support. Parents needs to report. You know, crime in Nigeria, we somehow encourage it by failing to report the crime. If we all report suspicious, you know, there's this saying that see something, say something. If we imbibe that culture, it will really help us to reduce the availability of drugs. Take, for example, some of these drugs we talk about, cough syrup, tramadol, Rafnor, are sold in the pharmacy. And so any pharmacy that is known to sell it without prescription, what do? I tell you, when I was in Bauchi, there was this pharmacy that was notorious for always selling. And I wrote something to the governor and I said, we need to shut down this pharmacy. And it was shut down.
Because most times they even know the people they sell to. So if you go there without them knowing you, they will not even sell to you. So they are even very familiar with those people that uses it. I
tell you, there's nothing, whether you sell to people you know, share the information with NDLA. NDLA will get that person. I trust them. I know what they can do. I was there. Yeah. You know, there's what we call undercover agent.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no way you will say you just
Okay.
know a particular set of people. Your market your clients will need to grow. That's it.
Your final advice for younger ones out there against gateway drugs?
Don't try. Because if you try, you know, in my language, Auchi, you know, when you start gradually, you know, you test. It's test cigarette. For you, it's sweet. It gets to a point, it's no longer sweet. You now want to try cannabis, and you try. First and foremost, have at the back of your mind as a young man that cigarette, there's a signboard on the packet that says smokers are liable
to die
young. Do you want to die young?
No.
If you don't want to die young, run. If somebody say try, say no. If you can run, run and run away from that person.
We've been talking to Deputy Commandant General of Narcotics, Momodu Sule, who has shared a lot of insightful information with us and advised us against the use of drug. We want to say thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Next on the show is another interesting encounter with Netta on Narco Tales. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to another episode. Now, help me welcome our special guest today, a true warrior in the battle against substance dependence. Please welcome Crosswords. Why Crosswords? Why?
Because I'm a puzzle.
What kind of puzzle?
Only to the women I love.
I should have asked.
You should not ask.
Right? So tell us about yourself.
My name is David Ikani. But I go by the stage name Crosswords. I'm a poet, a filmmaker, and an actor, and also a musical artist. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Please walk us through your story.
My story. I feel like trying to call it a story would be trying to be too rigid about it. For me, I feel like it's an experience beyond. It's not just a story for me. It's a personal experience. And drug addiction is something, it's a demon I'm very, very familiar with, because I feel like it's something I have healed from, falling back to, healed from again, and falling back to, and healed.
That's why you're a puzzle.
Yes, exactly.
I think I'm starting to.
You're starting to understand. But anyways, yeah. So I would say I got introduced to substance abuse via something as simple as cigarettes. So that's like the crazy thing here. A lot of times we feel like it has to be weed or pills or crack or something that gets you there. But I feel like the tiniest things could be the gateway to all of these things. So yeah, I started off with cigarettes. I mean, I wasn't influenced by anybody. I feel like I just always, due to the fact that I was always excited by pop culture, and then I listened to a lot of talk music growing up. I just wanted that feel. Okay, so taking drugs like nicotine, taking alcohol and stuff eventually led to worse things. Because the truth is, I do not like to see the use of drugs as a problem. I see the abuse or the dependence as the problem. You get me? So eventually, I feel like taking these smaller drugs led me to the point
What
where,
smaller drug?
yes, like I mentioned, things like cigarettes, alcohol, but eventually morphed into marijuana, roofies, stuff like that. But then, I experienced, now this is like I don't know if it's a mundane story, but yeah, I experienced heavy heartbreak
We're now very interested.
Yeah, I experienced heavy heartbreak after I graduated from school, and beyond the heartbreak, I was going through a whole lot as a young person, discovering myself as an artist, growing as a person, and I also had issues with fame, because my school where I went to, I had a certain level of fame.
What school?
Kobe State University, I had a certain level of fame that I think affected me in negative ways because it exposed me to every variety of persons. It made me interact with a host of people I shouldn't be interacting with. It made me blend with a lot of people. Not necessarily shouldn't be, but I shouldn't be morphing into who they are, basically. So yeah, I feel like after school, after the heartbreak, after all of these things combined together, I feel like it put me in a really, really, really depressed state. And the crazy thing about depression is you do not realize you're depressed when you are depressed. That's just the crazy thing, especially when you are truly depressed, not sad because you are broke or something, because that's the crazy thing. There was money, had my hand, money didn't touch my hand to an extent. So that's like the crazy thing. I had access to these things, and it led me down a path I terribly regret. I got into a relationship with a girl that was basically, sorry to say, a junkie to an extent, and that really, really messed me up. Because the thing about drug addiction is when you blend it with emotions, it becomes really, really terrible because it's hard to escape from. Yes, you get entangled, and then it's a whole mess of volatile emotions flying around. So yeah, I got into that relationship, and I think it really, really affected me negatively. I started doing really heavy drugs like crack, meth. Yeah.
Because of her?
Not necessarily because of her, but she was sort of a route. Yeah, because I was already going through these things. I was already doing drugs, but I feel
before
like
you met her?
yes, before I
Okay.
met her. But meeting her led me into doing heavier drugs because it was like she already did these things, and then to an extent it was like I finally found an escape. I finally found someone who understood me. But that's how I felt in some ways. So it really, really messed me up at that point in time. Got me really, really hooked on crack and meth at that point in time. And well, it was a really, really terrible point in my life, especially because of the fact that it was coupled with COVID. That period, yeah, it was coupled with COVID. So we were basically always in hotel rooms at home and stuff like that. So there was boredom that gave room for drug addiction. So it was just a whole lot of things combined together that led to that point. But yeah, mainly depression. Most definitely.
Tell me one experience you had, like a really bad experience you had with
A really bad experience. You know Colorado. I feel like anybody that's ever done drugs knows what Colorado is. And if you know what Colorado is, I feel like it's one of the most messed up substances to ever be released into the world. And there was this day I had that, and I actually lost a job because of that. Like, yes, I lost a film job because I smoked that before I left the house. And bro, you know they call travail. I travailled and it really messed me up. I became really sick for I think over a month. I was really sick. It really messed me up, and I shrinked. They had to, because I was doing drugs like codeine. I was doing a lot of drugs, pills, codeine, a lot. So I feel like they had to, at some point, I've forgotten the name they called it, detoxify my body. Yeah, they had to detoxify my body because I became really, really, really sick. And yeah, I think that was even kind of like the recovery point for me after that experience. Like the realization of how close I was to death in a lot of ways at that point in time made me realize, was it truly worth it? I mean, drugs are cool. I won't lie. I have to be honest. Drugs are really cool. The experience is cool. But the truth is, every sweet thing that's taken too much will give you diabetes.
True.
Yeah. So I feel like I had to realize that as cool as it was detrimental to me. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say thank God, but
wow,
it's for the best. No, it's for the best.
Facts,
yeah.
True.
Okay, so how was recovery been? What made you, what took you out? What made you snap out of that whole phase?
To be honest, I wouldn't want to lie to anyone watching this that's doing drugs right now. What I mean is, I wouldn't want to lie to you like there's some 5-step plan or some steps that you need to take that will just begin you or something. I feel like anybody that wants true change will change, but they always need a catalyst. And there was a catalyst in my life at that point in time. I had a friend, a guy that was really always there for me, that called me out on my DS, that made sure I had to let go of these things. And then also one thing that helped me during recovery was the fact that I cut off a lot of the guys I used to chill with. I had to until today there are people's call I would never pick.
So bad influence.
Yes. It's not necessarily bad influence, because if you call it bad influence, it will look like I don't have choices of my own.
They were promoting.
Yes, exactly. It's like when you're around people who do these things, it's hard to almost not succumb to the pressure. understand? So yeah, I feel like you need to stay. So yeah, for me that recovery, it's been a hard road. I won't lie. Just like I said, it's not a one day thing. There are times when you fall back again. There are times you rise again. But I think it takes a whole lot of intentionality if you want to recover.
Okay, your family, were they involved? Did they
Heavily
know?
involved. My dad is a pastor. Yes, my dad's a pastor. So when they found out, like my parents actually, I told my parents that I was smoking at that point in time. Like I was like 2019. I came clean with them, and it caused heavy problems in the house. Like my dad almost disowned
Of
me.
course, thought to
As
is a
in,
pastor's son, and then
yes,
how?
it was war. It was outright war. But then I think what really healed my relationship with them was the fact that apart from the recovery, I have been grinding at my art a whole lot. I feel like that's one thing that became an escape for me. Like, I think I focused all of that energy, all of that boredom, all of that depression. I just poured it completely into my art.
So we're going on a short commercial. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Welcome back. I'm sure this has been really exciting. So back to our special guest. You mentioned your art earlier, 2 years. So tell us about that.
Well, I have been into the creative arts for way longer than 2 years. But why I mentioned 2 years is I feel like it's been like the recovery road for me. And that was like the timeline, 2-3 years. I think at about 2021 was the last time I stopped doing crack and stuff like that, towards the ending of 2021. And so since then, I have released an album titled Winter Is Not Forever. It's on Spotify. I just recently directed my first film and actually won an award for it.
Oh, that's
yeah,
really
it's
nice.
proud moment. So yeah, that was like day before yesterday.
Oh, that's really,
really
that's
recent.
recent.
Yeah, directed a film for M Switch and it won an award as the best film in the category that it was nominated for. Yes. And beyond that, I've also featured in a couple of short films, my work, other works, feature films, and made music with a host of. I work with a lot of NGOs like Plan International, Street Project Foundation, just so many of them. I work with NGOs. I mainly work around speaking on climate change, gender-based violence, and sexual abuse. Those are the main areas, the thematic areas I work on mainly. So yeah. This has been like the journey mainly for me. It's been mostly about making as much art as possible, 2, storytelling, 3, expressing myself and speaking up for others, and then lastly, advocacy.
This has been really interesting. I'm sure the viewers would agree. Don't want you to go.
You want me to go?
I mean, no. But like every good thing has to end for now.
Yeah.
So I have one question for you. What advice would you give to someone out there who's struggling?
I feel like one thing I would say is, it sounds like the most cliche advice, of course, but talk to someone. I feel like the root of every drug addiction problem is emotional. If you talk to someone that's worth talking to, you would almost always find a response that could change your life. So please open up to someone, reach out to someone. Yeah, that's it basically.
Thank you very much, David.
You're welcome.
Remember, drug addiction and depression don't blend. Until next time, stay drug free.
Stay drug free.
Thanks, Netta. And with Narco Tales, we have come to the end of another interesting episode of In the Shadows. But remember, gateway drugs are substances that may appear seemingly harmless or socially acceptable, but they often increase the likelihood of experimenting the more dangerous drugs. Let us collectively safeguard our younger ones against gateway drugs. Till I come your way again next week on another interesting edition of In the Shadows. It is bye for now, and I remain your host, Yetunde Jayola.